Hey guys, welcome to Ben's Fast Break. This will be the wrap-up video from the Bahamas. Tennessee left this morning with the 5th place finish in the battle for Atlantis in hand. I'll be headed back later this afternoon. But for now, let's just kind of take a look at how they did this weekend. It's kind of same thing we're used to out of this team so far this year. Hot and cold balls kind of were in effect. They basically didn't play very well against UTEP to start the tournament. That was an 8-point loss. The Miners kind of threw some junk defense at the Vols, and they had a hard time dealing with it. They also didn't play kind of defense that Hanzo Martin expects them to play. So that was a loss right off the bat. And then I think everyone was kind of a little surprised by that. Then especially when UTEP turns around and goes and gets blown out by Iowa. Later in the tournament, UTEP holds Kansas to a 4-point win. So that was definitely a little bizarre. But those kind of things happen in this tournament. I guess major takeaways from the Vols, were how they bounced back. They turned around and beat Xavier, who had beaten the Vols to start the season in Cincinnati, so that was a good win for them. Xavier had a worse tournament than the Vols. They went 0-3, couldn't pick up one win, and basically were the worst team in the tournament. And then after that, the Vols turned around and beat Wake Forest. Hard to get a read on Wake Forest as well. They hadn't really played any tough teams before this tournament. They were undefeated. They lost to Kansas, and they also lost to Tennessee. They did beat USC, who doesn't appear to be very good as either. So the Vols certainly weren't the worst team in the tournament. The 5th place finish was a good finish. It actually earned the university $25,000, and you had to like kind of what you saw out of the team struggling with the adversity of losing that first game to UTEP. Basically, I think to me the biggest point in this was just how different of a team this is when they play the kind of defense they're expected to play, and also when Jarnell Stokes is kind of the factor that he can be. He had 3 double-doubles in this tournament, but the final 2 were much more impressive than the first. He was aggressive, he was assertive, the kind of things Coach Martin says has to be effective for this team to play well, especially when some of the shooters aren't necessarily as hot as usual. Antonio Barton was kind of a non-factor in this tournament. Actually, that's something that we can look at moving forward. Darius Thompson played a lot of minutes and played pretty well. Scored a season-high 16 points in that last game, so that's something to keep an eye on. Jordan McRae got his points as usual. Didn't shoot the ball necessarily well. Maybe it's the tournament setting. It was kind of an interesting setup in a ballroom. Also, they were playing with Nike balls, which UT usually doesn't play with. They play with Wilson balls at home, so those things kind of factor into this. But again, probably the biggest takeaway is kind of the head-scratching loss to UTEP, but also how the Vols responded to it moving forward. They're going to have about a week off. Then they get back on track with some smaller teams, kind of gearing up for that big road game against Wichita State. That's going to be a big one, and that will be the next true test that we see for this team and kind of find out how they've grown, where they are, and how they're going to look heading into the conference season and potentially, hopefully, for them, the tournament. That'll do it for us. You can check out all of our coverage of the Vols in the Bahamas at GoVolsExtra.com. We've got game stories, follow stories, and also video from the coaches and players after their press conferences, so make sure to check that out.